Hello and welcome back. Once again, it is time for the golden age of DC Comics 365 days, where I'm going through this well-loved hardcover coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago. This has been surfing my coffee table ever since, and it is a source of great comic book conversation, the kind we used to have in the comic book shops. I'm trying to recreate that here, now, today, with you. Thank you so very much for tuning in. The golden age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955, the silver age between 1956 and 1970, the bronze age between 1970 and 1985, I'm a Bronze Age baby, and the Copper Age begins in 1985. This is an Abrhams Press book, 2004, curated and written by Chip Kidd, Les Daniels, and Geoff Spear. There is a link in the description. If you want your own copy, hit Amazon. You can get one used for pretty cheap. You can get one brand new for about $25. Either way, it makes a great addition to your coffee table. It makes a great gift. I know. And I'm blessed to have this. And I like to take this opportunity in every show to say escapism is very important to humans. And you know, activism is very important to humans too. But activism has truly invaded the space of escapism and is trying to replace it. Whether it's sports, music, cinema, art, comic books. I mean, these aren't platforms to be spreading your message. They're entertainment vehicles. And there's room for both. You can't just outright replace our escapism because an activist is so needy. They need to transform all of our spaces into activist spaces. I mean, I respect activists, I do, but do they respect escapism? No, they don't. So how am I supposed to respect the activist when they have no respect for my needs? Seriously, stay in your own lane. Bugger off. I mean, go find a protest. Stay out of my comic books. Our comic books. We just need adventure stories, escapism, whether it's sci-fi or fantasy, whether it's space robots and aliens, or it's magic, or undersea adventures, or detective stories. It doesn't matter. I mean, escapism is just very important, and we need it to flex our imagination. That it's an important muscle, and it's desperately needed, especially now. We need to literally forget this world's problems, for a couple of minutes. Those problems will be here when we get back. They will. But in the meantime, you know, activists, you know, honestly, it takes a real asshole to be constantly having your nose rubbed in someone else's shit. Seriously. Only a bully would do that. Only a bully would try to take away someone else's fun for their own selfishness. So there's that, okay? And that's all I got to say on the matter. Let's return to the matter at hand. We use this book for its intended purpose. It's a 365 days book. So we're going to open up the book, go to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art. We're going to read the blurb, and we're going to talk about comic books for a few minutes. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So let's get to it. It is June the 21st. And let me say to you, happy summer. It's officially summer. It's the first day of summer. Why is he wearing a sweatshirt and a wool cap? Don't worry about that. It's nice and cool in here. This is from the cover of Comic Cavalcade number 34, August-September of 1949. And we have anthropomorphic animals to entertain the small people, you know. Summer begins. Celebrating the season with this beach scene are DC's most successful animal characters, including the fox and the crow, the raccoon kids, the dodo and the frog, and Nutsy Squirrel. Proof of their popularity is that they muscled their way into this particular comic book title in 1948, replacing faltering superheroes, including The Flash, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. This is true. Yeah, so superhero books were on the decline after World War II and in the late 40s and early 50s. Westerns and horror comics were, in kids comics too, like Archie comics, Warren comics, like Kids Fair, like Dennis the Menace and all of the ripoffs were hugely popular at the time. And but it is the first day of summer, and I'm just reminded about the summer of 1981. I was 8 years old. I turned 9 in November. But I was 8 years old, and it was my first year at day camp. Day camp was it was a YMCA thing, and it was run out of the Dorchester House in Dorchester, Massachusetts, on East Cottage Street. And on the corner of East Cottage Street and Dorchester Avenue was a place, it used to be called the Creamery. Then it was called Patty's Pantry. Today, I believe it's Cully's Convenience or something like that. I'm not too sure. I haven't been there in ages. Yet, we call that a corner store here in Boston. You might know it as something called a bodega or a local mini mart at this time. But in Boston, we got our corner stores, and that was our corner store on the way to day camp. And inside of Patty's Pantry had a newsstand, a spinner rack, full of comic books. And in the summer of 1981, specifically August, Marvel Comics had that famous banner on top of their comics: win a Columbia 10-speed Formula 10 racer. And I would love to go and get as many of these comics as possible to recreate, to put on my spinner rack. I got a spinner rack in my living room. I mean, I could put it in the background. I've run out of room in here, but I would love to get as many of these comics as possible. The summer of '81, they had a lot. That was their huge advertising campaign, was this like win a Columbia 10-speed. And the comics I remember that were cover dated November of '81, but they were actually released in August. Remember that the cover date of a comic book is 3 months after its release. About that, I believe so. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Put it into the comment section. Let me know. But it was so in November. Then you would rip off the cover, send it back to the distributor, who would send it back to the printer, where it would be returned to pulp and made into new magazines. And the stores and the newsstands get credit for the unsold copies. But so it was the summer of '81. And it was day camp. We just, we go to the Dorchester House. We all get on the bus. We ride out to camp, and they fed us lunch, like YMCA box lunches, like the peanut butter and jelly and cheese, and some and a treat and then like a juice box, and but yeah, it was like I was 8 years old. I would, my mom walked me there once, and then I was on my own. I would have some pocket change, and we would hit the corner store before we hit day camp, and I would get my comic books. And this is when I first began to buy comic books regularly, and it was that summer of '81. I'll tell you a couple of the comics that I did buy. The Raiders of the Lost Ark movie adaptation, issue number 3, and or Star Wars, Marvel Star Wars, issue number 53, that had the famous Walt Simonson cover of the oversized stormtroopers carrying the knocked out Princess Leia up to a TIE bomber. And apparently he repurposed that from a different cover of something else that's got a great story behind it. Specifically, one of my favorites that I remember was Daredevil 176, which was Elektra fighting Kurigi, the ninja leader of the Hand. And this is when we first was introduced to the Hand and Elektra and those Frank Miller stories. And there was also another one. It was a Moon Knight number 13 that guest starred Daredevil. And I just remember that I had 4 of these comic books, at least those 4, and maybe some more. I'm trying to find a resource where I can see them all and be like, oh, I had that one. I did not have that. I did not have What If Wolverine Had Killed the Hulk. I would love to have that one. I loved What If. And, but yeah, those are just a few of the comic books of my summer of 1981 when I began to buy comic books with my pocket money on a regular basis, and what started this lifelong journey into comic books. And so yeah, and it was summertime, and it was summer camp, and happy summer. Welcome to a summertime. Have a great summer. Enjoy the beach. Enjoy your vacations if you can. Keep cool. And you know what? We are going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Like and subscribe. Turn on those notifications. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We talk about comic books every day. We talk about spirituality. I'm an ordained minister, an amateur theologian. We talk about gratitude very often, you know. Gratitude turns into purpose. It really helps your life. I'm a professional chef. I share with you my cooking hacks in the What's Cooking playlist. And also I take cute, videos of bunnies eating their breakfast before the sun rises. It's pretty cute. You should tune in and make my channel a part of your YouTube day. Thank you so very much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you in the funny pages tomorrow. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.